Hi, second grade. I hope you've had a really great week or weekend, depending on what day you're seeing me. Today we're gonna start a brand new project, and this time we are going to do a collage. Could anyone raise their hand and tell us what they think a collage may be? I'll give you one hint. It's part of the image that you're looking at now. What could a collage be? Raise your hand. Awesome. I hope that someone said a collage is created art out of pieces of paper. Our focus will be learning about the desert regions. So deserts are where it's really hot. There's not a whole lot of life, so there might not be a whole lot of plants or animals walking around. A lot of times they hang out in the shade because it is so hot. We even have some deserts in Texas. We're also going to talk a little bit about science. What I want everyone to do is to put on your art investigator goggles. Go ahead and look at this image. What we're going to do is we're going to look at it for 10 seconds. I'll count. I just want you to look. I want to see if someone can find the scientific pattern that is going on in this photo. There's something here that I want you to notice. I want you to see if anyone can find it. There's a clue. Look closely. I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who could raise their hand and tell us what you notice about these mountain photos that we're looking at? I hope that someone pointed out that as things are closer to us, they are darker. As they are farther away, they get lighter and lighter until they start disappearing. This is called atmospheric perspective. Now that's a big phrase. Let's say atmospheric. Good job, atmospheric. Now let's say perspective. Perspective. So atmospheric means that all the air has a little bit of water in it. As you look through the air from far distances, they start to look a little bit lighter. That's because of all the hydrogen and basically water in the air that makes it look a little bit lighter from afar. Now things that are closer to us, we see them more clearly. All perspective means is just things that we can see. So we can see things close up, we can see things in the background, and we can see things in between. That's our perspective. To create and describe atmospheric perspective, we're gonna need to know 3 words: foreground, middle ground, and background. Now these should be pretty easy for you to remember. So foreground is anything that's in front of you, so things that you can see very clearly. As they start fading away and changing colors a little bit lighter, it's going to turn into the middle ground. So those are the spaces where things start to get a little bit small looking. Now we know they're not small because they're far away, but to us they look really small. Background are the things way in the back. So background could be the mountains at the very end of your vision that you can barely see, or it could even be the sky. Here's another example. So the foreground could be the lawn with the cows. The middle ground could be that lake because I can see a ship there, but it's so small. And then there's the background, so those mountains that are really far away, and then there's the clouds that are super far away. That would be the background. For our deserts, this time we'll be focusing on a nighttime scene. So the cool thing about going to the deserts is that there's not a whole lot of cities. Cities cause light pollution. So what light pollution is when houses and buildings, they make all this light. It's really hard to see the stars. When you're out in the desert and there's no cities around, you can see everything. You can see the Milky Way and you can see every single star in the entire universe. We may also be including a moon in our atmospheric perspective desertscapes. So be thinking about what kind of moon you might want to include. Okay, so we're gonna start our nighttime starry sky tonight. Most of these directions you'll watch me first and then we'll do it together at some point today. At the very bottom left-hand corner of your paper, I need you to find a white crayon, and what you're gonna do is write your name and class code at the very bottom. So I'm gonna write Mr. Boatfield, and then I'm just gonna put CC for class code, but you of course would actually put your class code number. Give me a thumbs up once you're ready. Please find a white crayon. Today at the middle table, I'm gonna have each table come up and try out some splatter effects. So what they will do when I call your table, you will bring your paper up to the middle table so that I can have you do this. But what we'll be trying is doing splatter effects. So I'll put some white paint in a little cup, and you and your partner, maybe just you if you're all alone, are gonna stick the paintbrush in this little cup. You're not gonna press real hard, you just want paint on the top bristles of the brush. Now what we're gonna do is gonna be a little bit messy, so I'll probably have the bins out of the way, but what you're gonna do is you're basically gonna launch this paint splatter effect onto the paper. So I'm gonna hold with my thumb, fling it back, and then let go of the bristles. What are you noticing? Someone please raise their hand and tell us what they're noticing. I hope you said it looks a lot like stars. You're gonna go over this whole paper. You're going to really get that full of little dots so that it really does look like a starry, starry night. What's cool about this is you will have all these little stars, and then sometimes you'll get these little streaks. They look like flying comets, which is really cool. Once you do that, I will put your artwork on the drying rack, and then I will instruct you and your partner to go wash your hands while I take the next group. I could only call on groups who are quietly working by themselves. Today, while you're waiting for me to call your table, you have a few options. You could do dry erase boards, you could write a story, you could do a little bit of free draw, or you could play the Picasso game by yourself or with your partner. These are your options. You must be in your seat because I will be calling tables to come up and do their splatter effects. You will need to take your paper with you. Alrighty guys, I hope that we have an amazing day. Next time we're gonna add our mountains, so be prepared to make some amazing cool art.